Hey everyone, it's Andy here and I'm with Erin Foster Music and I'm here in my home studio on the Gold Coast and I'm going to do a review video for Music Corp. So in today's video I want to talk about two pieces of equipment. Firstly, in-ear monitoring, and the guys at Music Corp were really kind to provide us with this Shure in-ear monitoring system. And I also want to talk about this sub-bass unit from RCF. Again, Music Corp have provided me with this sub-bass for this review. Now we actually have a gig this afternoon here on the Gold Coast with Erin and also with a DJ, Kaya Experience. And so what I kind of figured was the best way of showing you all this equipment is actually to take you through how we're going to do today's gig, and then I'll actually film some footage from the gig and actually show you how it all went. So we'll make this live and we'll make this real. So you get an idea of how we play live. I'm going to start with this rig here. This is our tracks rig. And I know we've spoken about this before, but I really want to give you a quick rundown of how this all works. So we have a Furman power conditioner to just make sure that all the equipment is protected from power surges. And we're running Ableton Live for our backing tracks through this Scarlett Focusrite interface, and then into a Behringer DI unit. So that's the Behringer DI unit there. And you can see all the patch leads there. Patch leads are essentially going from the Scarlett audio interface into the DI. Just also, we've got our in-ear monitoring system from Shure, and I'll be talking a lot about that today. And we've got a wireless microphone system from Sennheiser. Erin likes to use the Sennheiser wireless mic on stage. It lets her move around the stage a lot. Now I also want to just talk to you for a moment or two about how we actually mix our in-ears live on stage. So we actually don't rely at all on foldback monitoring on stage. Everything is done via our own in-ears, and it's actually been working brilliantly for us. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's working brilliantly. We can actually sound check. Like tonight, we will sound check our entire show just through our in-ears. So the audience in the venue won't even know we're sound checking. And then when we play live, like I said, we don't have to worry about any on-stage monitoring at all. Hey, and another reason why actually having in-ear monitoring is really important for us is that we all have a click track in our ear. So the click track actually makes sure that we all stay on tempo, obviously. So the drummer obviously drums to the click, Erin sings to the click, I play guitar, I launch samples, I play bass along to that click. So just to give you an idea of what that sounds like, here's an example of what our in-ears sound like with the click track when we're live on stage. So we mix our in-ear monitoring on stage using the Behringer X-Air. It's the XR18 digital mixer. So here it is. It's got 18 inputs and 6 auxiliary sends. That's actually really important. We use actually quite a lot of the inputs. I think we use 10 or 12 of them. But also we do rely on those auxiliary sends for our in-ear monitoring. And also I'll talk about it in a moment. We're running tonight our sub-bass using the auxiliary sends function. So look, one of the lessons that we actually learnt the hard way with this XR18 digital mixer is that it does have a Wi-Fi capability, and it's really easy, works really well, really easy to connect to it via Wi-Fi. But then we found in some venues, or if you're at like a music festival and there's lots of Wi-Fi interference, like maybe there's thousands of people that have phones and they're all trying to kind of connect to your Wi-Fi, we found it to be really unreliable. And if this thing fails mid-set, then our set can kind of stop. So what we did is we actually have a router here, and we use this on stage, and we actually use Ethernet cable whenever we play live to connect to the digital mixer. It's just a safety mechanism for us so that we make sure that we always have connectivity. And that Behringer digital mixer has a really cool user interface. Here it is, and this is actually our live setup pretty much for tonight. And I can actually mix our in-ears on stage using using this user interface. So I'll actually have 2 laptops on stage with me tonight. One of them driving Ableton, and we'll be triggering samples and backing tracks and all that sort of good stuff. And I'll have this one on stage with me as well, just in case I need to mix any of our in-ears during the set. And actually the setup is actually pretty simple. You can see these outputs here. We've got main, left, right outputs set up, and then I've got 3 different in-ears set up. I've got Erin's in-ear monitoring, ES IEM. I've got my own Andy's in-ear monitoring, and I've got Dave, our drummer's in-ear monitoring. Very often we play as a 3-piece, and all 3 of us have our own in-ears, and all 3 of us can have our own mix in our ears, and our own different mix. You'll also notice I've got sub set up there, because I'll also be talking about that RCF sub bass as well, and I'm really looking forward to using it tonight, especially with the DJ who's opening for us. It'll sound just absolutely sick with a really cool big sub bass in this venue. So I'm actually running the sub out of the auxiliary sends as well. Yeah, so I'm actually going to now do a bit of a rehearsal and then pack the car and head up to the venue, and we'll do part 2 of this video at the venue, where I'll actually show you how it all comes together and how we actually do this live. So see you soon.